Hello, it's Tuesday, May 17. This is what we have for you on InfoHub. President David Granger to present Green State Development Strategy at World Bank meeting. The Attorney General has rubbished claims about kickbacks and notes that his predecessor has a lot to answer for. Ministry of Education using technology to improve grades. Japanese expertise will help improve the management of the Higgs-Bosch dump site, and it's World Telecommunications Day. Check us after these messages for details. Welcome back. We begin with the Green State Development Strategy, which will be presented by President David Granger at a World Bank meeting in the United States. Zanil Williams has the details.
President David Granger has been invited to make a presentation on Guyana's green agenda at the World Bank headquarters in Washington, D.C. At a high-level State House meeting yesterday, the World Bank's Country Director for Caribbean Countries and Latin America, Tashin Saeed, explained.
There's a lot that the World Bank and my colleagues in Washington can learn from what Guyana is aspiring to do, especially in a unique situation where on the one hand you have this green agenda, green strategic agenda, on the other hand you have an extractive oil industry coming up. So balancing the both together, I felt that bringing the president to the World Bank headquarters for a presentation on the aspirations of Guyana would be beneficial for both parties, for the World Bank and other stakeholders who are there in Washington, and for Guyana.
Saeed said the government's plan to take full advantage of its resources was impressive. The World Bank's provision of technical and financial support to aid with the green agenda were also discussed.
We exchanged a really forward-looking dialogue on how the World Bank can bring its resources, both technical and financial, to support Guyana and the people of Guyana in their aspiration for green growth development.
According to the framework, the Green State Development Strategy will guide Guyana's economic and socio-cultural development over the next 15 years. Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
Claims that the coalition government is taking kickbacks for settling multi-million-dollar cases were on Wednesday rubbished by Attorney General Basil Williams. Stacey Carmichael has the details.
Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams rejected accusations by the opposition leader that this administration is receiving kickbacks from cases settled out of court or lost. The Attorney General responded to the allegations on Wednesday during a press conference at his chambers.
There's nobody who could take kickback and all that. Not in our government. Because the matter has to go, it has to be dealt with by the subject minister, and then it has to go to cabinet for approval.
Opposition leader Bar Jagdeo during a recent press conference questioned if the government is deliberately losing millions of dollars in matters before the court for financial benefit.
Has he given you proof of that? I mean, what he means by that? What is he relying on? His past conduct and his government's past practices? We don't practice like that. I just give you a system that is accountable and transparent. What is he saying? Why you don't interrogate them when they talk? How is it a kickback? To who? To all the members from Ministry of Communities and his team, the Minister of Communities and his team, the Attorney General Chambers and his team, the whole cabinet.
The AG warned that the opposition leader's statement is not only false but libelous. AG Williams asked why the cases were settled out of court rather than fought to the end, described many of them as incurable. He explained that if a case is not argued at a lower court, it cannot be taken to the Court of Appeal or the Caribbean Court of Justice. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
In our next report from Kadaki, Amsterdam, we learn why the Public Health Ministry's continued vigilance for contagious diseases in border regions is necessary.
In Venezuela, measles, diphtheria, malaria, and there are cases of yellow fever, but it's not in an epidemic situation. While in Brazil, they have had last year the most important epidemic, taking 5 states, not precisely in the border with Guyana, but has been detected a few monkeys sick in the Roraima state months ago.
Dr. Bonet noted the porous nature of Guyana's borders and the ease with which Venezuelans and Brazilians visit these shores, and the high possibilities of disease transfer.
Still the epidemic of yellow fever that you know is a zoonosis is still present in Brazil and circulating. Measles, an important epidemic in Roraima state and in the border with Guyana in the Waru tribe. In the Waru tribe that you know are nomads, are in the forest, just in the border with Guyana. So the potentiality of transmission of measles is big.
PAHO, since early May, declared a health situation in the northern district of South America, given the presence of two epidemics in Venezuela and Brazil. This information was shared at the recently concluded simulation exercise to test the country's emergency response preparedness plan. Public Health Ministry officials have since remained on high alert and are monitoring the situation closely.
Today is World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, and Minister Kathy Hughes says Guyana has progressed to the point where citizens are using some form of technology daily. Stacey joins us again.
Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes, in her World Telecommunication and Information Society Day address, WTISD reflected on the progress made in the ICT sector. Starting in 2016, the Ministry of Public Telecommunications made a promise to not only improve connectivity but to provide internet access countrywide. Providing online learning opportunities and expanding the e-government network were primary objectives.
The education sector is where we have placed the most emphasis. You would recall that one of our first acts as a ministry was to distribute laptop computers to every qualified teacher in all 10 regions. Of course, this is being followed up now with computer literacy training for the teachers who are not yet computer literate, especially in our hinterland regions.
Today, the minister said some 120 locations are connected countrywide, including government agencies, onto a secure e-government network. The focus now, with support from the private sector, is connecting the primary schools.
We're going to give our children every single tool they need to learn and excel at the 4 big sisters. They are science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, better known as STEM. STEM is the basis of the high-tech world we live in, the world we work in, do business in, import products from, and teach our children to compete in. STEM is what drives technology, robots, and artificial intelligence.
Minister Hughes also acknowledged the commitment by the 117 management committees of the community ICT hubs. This year's WTISD is being celebrated under the International Telecommunications Union developed theme, enabling the positive use of artificial intelligence for all. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Government's housing is getting another boost with the introduction of the Key Stakeholders Initiative. Tiffany Rogers tells us that 7 housing developers were shortlisted by the Central Housing and Planning Authority to meet the demand for housing units.
The public-private partnership seeks to provide 8,000 low to moderate cost homes by 2021 to state employees, low-income earners, and young people in Region 4. Minister within the Ministry of Communities, Valerie Adams Yearwood, demanded high-quality products from the PPPs.
I envisage that through this public-private partnership, high-quality standards will be obtained and maintained throughout the life cycle of this project. The structures that will be erected must, and I repeat, must be of high quality. I also envisage that this public-private partnership will see an increase in the use of local materials in the building of these housing units.
CHPA's CEO, Leland Saul, said the PPP allows for the government to meet the demand for housing units in a timely manner.
Several benefits will be derived: cost saving, risk sharing, technology and knowledge transfer, labor force expansion, among others.
The shortlisted companies were selected from expressions of interest published in 2016. The CHMPA is currently reviewing design layouts of the 7 shortlisted companies. Project Director Omar Narai noted the CHMPA is likely to go with all 7 companies following the review. The developers will largely finance the developments to provide low-cost housing units in the Diamond and Prospect areas on the east bank of Demerara. There is also potential for housing units in Cummings Lodge on the east coast of Demerara. Reporting for InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Letitia Isaacs now tells us that the Ministry of Education is using information technology solutions to improve student performance.
Improving the performance of primary school students is the focus of the Education Ministry. The ministry is currently expanding its online training for head teachers using a program called Analytics. Deputy Chief Planning Officer Nicola Johnson said the program targets students from grade 2 to grade 6.
We're using this web-based solution that is where we're compiling report based on robust statistical analysis, drilling down reports to the level of the students. So it's for grade 2, 4, and 6. It's beyond just we want to know not just whether they pass the subject, but what competencies children are getting from specific subject areas.
The ministry's intention is to aid teachers in improving their planning processes.
The students will benefit tremendously in that once, for instance, in grades 2 and 4, which are diagnostic assessment, once we're able to use, head teachers use those analysis the way it should be used, then they will be able to plan targeted remedial intervention to catch students before they end a particular cycle, and thus it will improve their students' performance.
For InfoHub, Letitia Isaacs.
The Caribbean Public Health Agency has collaborated with the Japan International Cooperation Agency to introduce an improved and healthier method of sanitary landfill management at Higgsbush. Alexis Rodney was there and filed this report.
Guyana has been identified as the pilot country in the English-speaking Caribbean to use the scientific method pioneered by Japan. The semi-aerobic landfill structure, which will be built later this year, was developed through a joint study by the city and University of Fukuoka, Japan. Today, Japanese experts met with local officials at the Higgsbush landfill site at Eccles to offer training in the new method.
Today, you will see what the Fukuoka method is and how effectively this method would work in this landfill in Guyana. We hope that you will have a clear vision on the new method and that all Guyanese would work together to achieve green Guyana in the near future.
Higgsbush is operating within an anaerobic environment, which means existing in the absence of oxygen. Utilizing the semi-aerobic landfill, according to the Japanese experts, will see a lower emission of greenhouse gases, faster stabilization, less underground pollution, and a cheaper management. Head of the Sanitation Department, Ministry of Communities, Gordon Giles, said solid waste management is consistent with the Green State Development Strategy.
In order to alleviate the negative impacts, the idea of integrated waste management has been gaining momentum in the Guyana and the Caribbean at large, since it is important that we all manage our waste in a sustainable manner.
Reported for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Zanil Williams tells us that Guyanese of all ages with disabilities defied the weather and participated in friendly competition on the National Park tarmac.
The Ptolemy Reed Rehabilitation Center and Palms Geriatric Home teamed up to host a unique day of sports. One of the coordinators, Vanessa Wickham, explained that the 8 sporting activities helped with the socialization and improvement of physical capabilities of participants.
Ultimately, the goal is to get these persons back in society as before, right? They would have experienced either an amputation or a stroke. So this interaction, when they're out there, they partake in a race, they can realize their physical capabilities. And with this is going to motivate them, build their confidence, self-esteem to do more.
Occupational therapist at the Palms Geriatric Home, Diarani Babulal, said the sporting event will raise awareness of the programs available at the two institutions.
Yes, it will. It will help get more persons involved. Staff will be involved, as well as persons out there who will see that these services are available and they're available free. And they can come out and get assistance to and improve quality of life and be out there, be more independent, and learn to cope with whatever phase of life they're dealing with right now.
Some of the activities included wheelchair races, assisted device races, shot put, and dominoes. Donations were made by Banks DIH and Food for the Poor to make the event possible. Sunil Williams for Info Hub.
And finally, today is the first day of the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. Ramadan falls on the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, and during this period, Muslims fast, abstaining from food and water from sunrise to sunset. This annual observance is regarded as one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Info Hub wishes Ramadan Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. Connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media, where we have all the breaking news and updates on Guyana. Goodbye.